All right, students, you've done it. You've taken the plunge and you've bought a supercomputer that can help you do all types of amazing things for video editing. And you didn't have $2,000 of the dollars to pay for it, so you had to take out an installment loan. And you know that every single month, you're going to pay the same amount. Let's take a look at what the implications of this are and how much of that monthly amount you are sending to the bank in terms of how much you owed and how much you owed in interest. So down here, we need to borrow $2,000 to buy this computer. The original amount you borrow is called the principal. So this is the original amount borrowed, but I think what I might just say here is amount owed, just to make that easier on all of us. Amount owed. Okay, so you owe somebody $2,000 for basically they gave you $2,000 to buy this awesome computer. And you said you'll pay it back in 3 years, over 3 years in monthly installments at an interest rate of 12%. And what they say is they're like, okay, well, we'll create a table for you, and based on this amount, this time frame, and this interest rate, we can give you monthly payments of $66. So as long as you pay us $66 every single month for 3 years, you'll have paid off the entire $2,000 and your interest. And you're saying to yourself, okay, let me cover up this last part so it's not distracting us. But you say to yourself, well, how much of my first payment is going to go to interest and how much of my first payment is going to go to principal? Because ideally, I want to pay off this amount as fast as possible. I don't want to just be paying interest for the rest of my life. So $2,000 is how much we owe. And we're going to pay $66 back every single month. But some of that is going to be interest. How does this even work? Well, in your first payment, you're going to be paying $66. And some of this goes toward interest because you owe 12% interest on $2,000. And some of it goes to pay down the principal of that $2,000 that you borrowed. How do you figure out what the split is for your first payment? Well, you know it's 12%, right? You owe 12%. You know it's a monthly payment, and there are 12 months in the year. So this is just 1 out of 12 months that you're going to owe this. And you know that since this is your first payment, you haven't paid any principal off, right? So you're going to actually owe the full $2,000 of 12% interest for that 1 month. So what do we do here? We're going to multiply by the full $2,000 that we owe. So 12% times the 12th times the $2,000 in principal, or the amount that we owe, will give us our first split of interest. The remainder will be how much we paid off in principal. So 12 times a 12th is just 1%. Why? Well, 12 over 1 times 1/12 would give you 12 over 12, and anything divided by itself is 1. So we have 1% of 2,000. You say, oh, 1%. I can do 10%. 1% sometimes gives me some trouble. Well, 10%, just divide by 10. That's simple. So you divide by 10, you get 200. But we want 1/10 of that. So divide by 10 one more time. Because 1% is 1/10 of 10%. So 200 divided by 10 one more time, we get 20. So this is $20 in interest, right? Because this 12% is the interest rate. So this is how much interest we pay on our first $66 payment. That means the rest of it goes down to pay our $2,000. So 20 less than 66 gives us 46. Right? So of this $66 initial first payment, $20 of it goes to interest because we borrowed $2,000 to buy this computer. But $46 of it goes to pay off the principal. And so what's really cool is that we can subtract now that $46. And now we only owe $1,954 in principal. So the principal has decreased for the second payment, which means we're actually going to owe a little less interest, because instead of multiplying 1% by 2,000, we're going to multiply 1% by 1,954. Now, if this was $20, 1% of this will give us $19.54. So you can see that as you chip away at the principal, you're actually paying less in interest, which makes sense. Let's go to this second piece of the problem. That was for the first payment. On the 24th payment, so after you've been paying off this computer for 2 years, your outstanding principal has decreased all the way to $806. That's awesome. You used to owe $2,000, and now you only owe $806 because you've been paying off some of your principal every single month. So now you can actually do the same calculation and say, well, how much in interest is this $66 and how much in principal is this $66? So the interest rate hasn't changed and the month hasn't changed, right? It's still the same 1/12 of a year. So we're going to pay 1% of $806. So we know that we started off in interest on $2,000. Our first interest payment was $20, and then it went down to $19.54. So now, after 2 years, our interest payment has decreased all the way to $8.06. Super cool. As you chip away at that principal and you owe less and less money, you'll pay less and less interest. So of this $66, interest will be $8.06, and principal will be the remainder. $8.06, well, let's just do $8, and then we'll take the 6 cents off that. So 66 minus 8 gives us 58, but then we need to take 6 more cents off. So 57.94. So you can see over time in installment loans, you pay less and less interest, from $20 to $19.54 to $8.06. You're paying less and less interest, and you're paying more and more principal. So that's pretty cool. You get an installment loan, and it starts to get into your favor. First, you're paying a lot of interest and not much principal. And then over time, as you chip away at that principal, you're paying more and more principal and less interest. And that's really what you want, because paying interest, it's not really interesting. It's another business math joke. It's not really interesting because you're not getting anything for it. You're just paying somebody for letting you borrow money. So ideally, you just want to pay the money back as fast as possible. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.